In so many ways, we extend the knowledge of physicality that one day it might enlighten you to understand the truth about yourself, which is within you. In a way, we are not doing it for you to see the others. We are teaching for you to see within yourself. We taught about the GANSes. We taught about the cup of life. We taught about the cup of universe, and we taught about the cup of man. But the knowledge of the man needs to be added to step by step for him to understand more. In the teaching of up to now, we gave you step by step as you could understand and grasp one part or the other. In so many ways, you came with us in the journey of understanding from nursery to full education. We taught you about 2 plates. We taught you about nano-coating and non-nano-coating one of the plates. This was your chemistry and your batteries. This is a space technology and understanding of the play of the magnetic fields. In that process, we taught you more. We brought you further in education, that we showed you not only you can do this, but you have the capability to increase the fields by numbers. There is a big difference between number 1 and number 2, even though it's the same copper and the same nano coating. This is a singularity of the fields. This is multitude of the fields. In the further steps, we taught you more to understand more. And then we taught you about 1 or 2 plates and 1 or 2 things and 1 or 2 bits, but still in the presence of the magnetic field. In part of the teaching, you became wiser and you learned a little bit more that you can create a condition of the creation of the fields without matter states. And you graduated to understand the position of creation of the fields in all dimensions. But still, you are entrapped in the condition of the one-dimensional field position. You change the salts or you add salts to create another dimension. Today's teaching is a step further. A step further for you to understand a combination of works which needs to be done, which needs to be another step for man to understand the 3-dimensional connection between the life of the man, the existence of the universe, and creation of the soul. Now, we give you a frame of work. This frame is 2-dimensional. But if I make this frame in a 3-dimensional for you, you might understand a little bit more for the first time what we are sharing with you, that you understand the game, understanding of the creation of the cell of the body of the man, why you have different layers of the skin, why we always create 3 layers to maintain and to hold anything. On the skin of the man, you have 3 layers. The outer layer for the interaction with the outside fields, the inner layer for interaction with the inside, and 1 neutral zone which can allow one or the other to transfer energies within itself as is needed. We see this structure in the structure of the womb of the mother. We see this in the structure of your intestine. We see this in the structure of the body of the man in every dimension. But what you have not understood is how to create these 3 dimensions. how to attain the creation of this three-dimensional structure that you can make a living cell. You can make a living cell with the existence of the soul, the agreement of the totality, the understanding of the knowledge of the creation. Up to now, all you did is stuck a plate in and a little bit of something else, and you were happy. Today, for the first time, we teach you the next step in moving from a two-dimensional structures and fields to three-dimensional structure and fields, which allows you for the first time to create the cell of the man. How you transfer energy in a dimension of physicality does not matter at point and where in the universe. In so many ways, we teach you the secret of creation. Another step for you to understand how physicality has interrupted the life of the man, and how you have failed to create a connection between the two. Today's teaching is one of the most fundamental parts of the teachings of past 8 years, 20 years, if you understand it. And if you haven't understood, you will become another monkey copying to see and not understand. What does this mean? Up to now, we take this as your cup. Look at it in 3 dimensions. You had the zinc plates, and you had your copper plates, nano-coated or not. And in the case of the planet Earth, you added the iron, nano-coated. But you are dealing with a vertical position and not with the horizontal layer of creation of the skin, one cell to another. You made the gases, but you have not learned how to join these together. Today I teach you. And this will change the mankind from today on as we prepare you for the 6th of June next year to understand how to transmute, how to transfer energies into matter state. You always worked differently because you had to see how the ganses are made. If you understand the correct way of how working with this, you will see how the ganses become cells, become living things, and how they will interact. And how, if you understand the principle behind the work of this, you can create the cell of a heart in a cup. You can create the soul of your child in the cup. You can create the heart of the man in the cup. But this cup of knowledge is the knowledge of universe. Transformation and transmutation between the elements and the fields. Inertia, gravity, GANS condition, creation of the fields, converting the fields to energy fields of existence, what we call the body of the man. God be with man, and I hope mankind will not abuse this knowledge, as it's not our wish. You learned to take a copper plate and hang it. Now take the same copper plate and put it horizontal. Connect it to its nano of itself. Connect it to a zinc plate of itself. Connect it to the zinc nano coil of itself. Connect it with a key ingredient, which is carbonized entity. You have created what you wanted in every dimension. The CO2. Interaction of the soul and physicality. Energy source between the lot. Then do this in a different way in the dimension of the existence. Nanocoat your zinc galvanized plate in the dimension of itself. Then add an iron to it in a coil, and then add a nanocoat of iron to the same. And then you will see you can do the same in different combinations in every dimension of this structure. Here, here. Get yourself and connect the nano-coated zinc and connect in that dimension another copper, but this time half nano-coated and half plain. And then add the other parts which you think might be helped to support life and energy by plain creating blood, and by nano-coating creating the soul of the blood dimension of its cavity. Now you can see the picture is different. The picture has changed, and with this picture you'll be able to create the dimension of life. As you see, you will add things in different ways and different manners in every shape you want, and you will see the changes. But in this process, you shall see the most amazing thing: the soul and the cell of the life. We show you this because you need to understand this, because it shows that in that dimension, how we create the self, how we create a new dimension, how we create even the connection, the creation of the soul in the dimension of the universe, as you connect this to this and this to this. And then you understand the multitude and the field forces which create and gives you the opportunity to dictate the strength of the soul or the creation. In the future, mankind will understand this. And in the future, mankind will create a condition to exist within that dimension. To this understanding, you need to add many other knowledges. Up to now, you knew only how to make a gas of CO2 with 2 plates. Now you learn the complexity of understanding the knowledge of creation. In so many other ways of understanding the star formation of your star in every direction shall be here. The bases are the base of a star formation, and the one in the middle is the soul. It'll have accumulation of the all feelings and emotions of every single connection. And then you understand how simple the knowledge of creation is. How simple, if you get the right combination and salinity, as you call it, can be created within the structure. You need no salt. You need no other condition. You create condition of the field forces of the salt which created you within the interaction of the fields. This is the process of the creation. On one side, you create the structure of the fields of the environment. And one side, you create a condition of the environment of within. And in between, it shall create its own environment of interaction between the two. We feed from the one strength and we charge from the other. And in between, the body of the man, the body of the creation, decides the structure of the, what we call physicality. And how the energies are transferred from one to another or out and ingoing and the other. This happens in your intestine, that a specific field strength created by your neural system and your blood system dictates what fields of banana will carry through this section and what fields of strength in this section will carry the vitamins from the tomato you ate with the banana. Is the mastery of the art of the brain of the man in putting and positioning all this next to each other. So in coming time, all these cups which you made in a condition of creation, putting next to each other, will create different cells. And then you decide which way the fields need to go. How you stack it and how you enjoy the transformation and transportation of the fields in all directions. You wanted to know how to make a cell. You wanted to confirm and change that amino acid which was collected on top of your boxes. Now you'll find the amino acid which was created in the first cup setting here will mix in field forces with the amino acid of this one and with the amino acid of this and creates a new physical dimension for the soul. This is a natural process of growing a cell, the way the universe does, by creating conditional fields. And when the man becomes more knowledgeable, he will not need the copper or the zinc. He will create the fields of copper and the zinc and will create this field. The way our body does. The way we grow the first cells in the womb of the mother. The way the life will interact with our souls when we enter the universal community and we land on the place. The atmosphere outside our soul interacts with the fields of our soul, and the interaction and the balancing of the two lead to creation of manifestation of the physicality. If the body of the man decides to manifest itself in interaction and communication with his soul which is carrying it, Then, with the interaction of the fields of the environment, of the place, with the field created the dimension of physicality, you will get the elusive shape of the being in that place. Be it Earth, which is a man shape, or planet Zeus, which would have 8 legs. In so many ways, the same thing repeats itself. In the dimension of physicality of man today, we interact with the fields of the planet Earth and the universe, we take our shape. In the dimension of the soul of the man interacts with the soul of the universe, which has no matter state, and leads to interaction of what we call dimensional soul of the physicality. And with the interaction with the environment of itself, it creates the physicality. With all its attributes, as it has the replication of itself within the physical structure of the soul of the man. Now you understand. If you want to translate this to understand it better, go to book number 1 and change just the names. Magnetical, gravitational, mass, and weight. Magnetical comes from here. Gravitational comes from here. The interaction gives you the mass, which is constant, and interaction with the environment, you get the weight, which is the physicality. The knowledge within book number 1 is the totality of the knowledge man needs to live in the universe. If you understand the essence. You carry a Bible, you carry a Torah, you carry a Quran to understand the ethos of the soul. Understand the book number 1 and 2 and 3, you carry the knowledge of the universe. It's for you to interpret. As I said in the tape you heard before, this time we bring the prophet of the knowledge and the science with the prophet of the soul at the same time. And in so many ways, you have seen it here in this image. We teach you the physicality, and with it, we teach you the knowledge of the soul. It's the wisdom of the man which will bring down the curtain of ignorance. In so many ways, now you can see what is the next step in the level of creation. What is to come, and how we have started connecting the first 4 or 5 years of the teaching with the second 3 or 4 years of teaching with the soul. Now we can see the creation of the dimension of both. Today, you look at this as an iron copper, and you look at this as a zinc nanocoated. What about if I put to you this? The GANS of the zinc, the GANS of the copper, the GANS of the iron, and the same different combination and position in the triangle. And then you tell me, do you need any more matter states to create that elusive soul of the entity in its structure? This is why I pushed you for past years to work with the fields. As in the universe, we have no matter for you to work with. Understand the strength of the fields, understand the way GANSs interact with their fields and not with nanoplates and nanocoating. It's time to grow. It's time to be ready that when it comes to time we become the passenger of universe, We get somewhere, we forgot to bring the knowledge of the arm. We have to live on this planet with no arms. How do I feed myself? How do I receive it? How do I add to the knowledge to create a new arm with the knowledge of the energies and the fields I carry within the soul of the man? I don't need arms. I need something different in this environment. It's different things for me to catch. How do I create half arm, half emotion, half GANSes to be able to attract the food I need, the energy which I need to take from the environment? Now you understand. Many of you, I'm sure in the next coming days, will make many of these. But the essence is understand what the field interaction will come. Many of you might even attempt this, but understand what it does. A millimeter higher, a 2 centimeter lower will give you a different combination of the energy of your own soul. Replication will be hard unless you understand the process. The way the DNA of the man has understood separation in division, but at the same time working at the same way, the same time to keep the existence of life. Now you understand today why it's important for the knowledge seekers who are advanced in understanding of the technology. In so many ways, if you understood this and you could replicate this, today you can become passengers of the universe and travel the depth of the universe with no fear that you will return back to Earth. If you want. And you don't need to be passengers of the journey for hundreds of thousands of years. As you connect to the fields of the span of the universe, it's instantaneous. This is why I have said many times, show me one research which shows the speed of the fields which is coming out of the pole of a magnet. And show me where does it end. Now you're dealing with the spherical dimension of the soul of the man. God help you if you ever understand how to do this. In understanding the totality of the knowledge brings you the comprehension of the, what I call creation. To comprehend how sophisticated life is, but in fact it's all on the same principle and dimension. No more and no less. It's you who has to decipher the knowledge. It's you who has to understand the connection. What connects where, at what strength, and in which shape and form. Then what I teach you becomes as easy as ABC. What I teach you becomes as sweet as sugar you have ever had as a knowledge. It's for you to understand the detail of the work. It's for you to understand the capabilities or interaction of different fields and energies. Now, as knowledge seekers, I have given you a new toy to play with. I'm sure many of you will endeavor to see how good a player you become. There's still nano coating, or you have advanced enough to play with the fields of the GANSes. In so many ways, you will decide how you want to play. how you think you can create images within the structure of the understanding. When you look and you take the spherical shape of any entity, you have to decide how would this field interact. Where does it end? Where does it come from? Where would it lead when I use it in the structure of the process of the life which I want to add to? I give you one picture and have a look at this. This is the ice fields of a GANS. And every single line connects to somewhere. The beauty of this is in the center of this ice block, there is no GANS. It's the soul of the GANS. We have never placed a single drop of GANS in this ice. We transferred the soul of the GANS within this ice to show its beauty, to show its interaction with other fields. There is not a drop of GANS in this water. But there is the soul of the GANS in this water. Where in the dimension of the water has manifested itself in this shape, and the line he has created with others within this environment. Now you understand the difference. You don't need the physicality to make the connection to the universal knowledge. And you don't need the soul to be within the GANS to create the connection with the fields. Now you understand how detached can be the soul and manifest itself in the same place, in a different dimension. And you see, the shape of it is more or less spherical. The gas used for this was in a bucket. And he had the shape of the man in the bucket. But it takes the shape of the eyes and becomes a bowl because it's a soul. And then if you understand this, you understand the most fundamental knowledge given in theology. I made man in the image of myself, as I do not need to be as my soul will manifest itself in the dimension of its manifestation as it likes, but it carries my soul. As the replication is not in the dimension of physicality, but is in the dimension of the soul of the creator, in the existence of dimension of physicality of this planet, this time and position. Then you don't need much gases to put many boxes of water around and create the same soul within. Make one red water, Make around white water, make around green. Salinity changes in one and the salinity changes in the other, and the mixtures of salinities, and some metal in one and the other one. The structure of the soul of the creator within each box will be the same, but the physical manifestation and the connection of the lines will be different, and different manifestation of physicality. Now you understand why I am the creator. Now you understand how pure the knowledge of the creation has been given to man, but man is so ignorant of his own existence. We don't claim to be that. We are the creator above that. The knowledge of creation, understanding the process of the creation, changes icebox to the frozen spaces in the universe, or changes icebox to the volcanic eruptions of the center of the earth, I shall still create my image within it and give it life. There is no place in the universe which does not carry my soul, even within the cell of the man. Now, you understand how easy it has been to create life in the universe. How easy it has been to create dimension of the creation, as in every dimension in the soul, the interaction of the fields of my soul with the creation of environment leads to manifestation of the physicality, as you see. Then you understand the text and understanding of the books which has been written. The books are not just scientific, but they are as theological as the scientific. It's you who have to understand the both and interpret. As we said, this time we put the two prophets together, then you understand the prophet of the science and theology. And in that way, you have seen, we have shown you in the past pictures how this process has taken place. Understanding of the knowledge is the responsibility of the man. Comprehending the process of the creation is the responsibility of the soul of the man. Bring them together that you can exist in both dimensions. Fail to understand, you will suffer with one and you will see the demise of the other. In totality, the total knowledge of the creation has been given to the man, but it's man who has to decipher. It's man who has to break through the process of understanding. It's man who has to understand the time, the position, and the place. Does he want to communicate by physicality, or do you want to communicate with the field, the strength, the same emotion? Do I need to use the voice of I love you, or do I need the creation of the fields, which means I give everything to you in the dimension of the soul and ethics? Now you understand why today's teaching is important and one of the cornerstones of the future teachings. We live amongst you as a man, but we carry the soul of the Creator. As man has to understand the interaction between the two. As is the soul, is a condition of creation of position and transferring of the knowledge from one to another. In so many ways, It's for you to endeavor to step to the next dimension, to understand it and create it, and with it, understand the process of creation. This is why we developed the enhancement unit. This is why we developed the new sets of enhancement units, which will be shown for the first time next week. They'll go on the test next week. And then we see how the soul of the man will decide to change the physicality. And what would the physicality take to change the freedom cage to become softened for the soul to be free? Understanding the physical dimension is more important than understanding the position of a dimension. I hope with today's teaching, I open a new horizon in the knowledge of man. I hope with a new teaching, we open your eyes to a new dimension. And then you understand why we stay detached. And then you understand why you should stay detached. Because if you don't, on the point of arrival, you'll become attached. And you will not see the rest of the beauties of the creation. Thank you very much for today's teaching. And I hope I have enlightened many of you to the new science of creation. And for some of you who are still physical, a new toy to play with.